with all the stuff that's happened, like you said, Ukraine and Crimea, I thought about that. I was like, oh man, there's a lot of Russians who I'm sure would welcome with open arms a Russian incursion at the Baltics. But, to be honest, the people living there, a lot of times they complain about not living in Russia and stuff. But, I think, and again, this is just my opinion, I don't know anything diplomatically about the area or the region, but from the people that I met and talked to, they more loved just the cultural tradition of Russia and the glory that Russia, had. It wasn't so much that they loved Putin or the Kremlin or, you know, I mean, them, Russia wanting to take over the world, as much as they just love being Russian. They love that cultural identity and kind of that glory. And a lot of them did, miss the Soviet Union. They missed when it was there, and they liked having it there because they did feel like their cultural identity had a strong international presence and a strong identity. But, as far as having them, step on other people, the people I met were never bloodthirsty, wanting to rise up in rebellion, they did miss the things of the past, and they missed their cultural identity of being Russia as being like a powerful nation in the world. But, they didn't really, nobody I met wanted to start a war or rebellion or rise up against the people there in the Baltics. They understood, what their situation was, and, they wished Russia would be more part of their lives, but some of them understood too that Russia wasn't the best place to live either. And a lot of them remembered, that there was a lot of corruption in Russia and a lot of, dangerous situations that happened there. And some of them felt safer in the Baltics than they did in Russia, because there wasn't as much corruption in the Baltics as in Russia. I won't say the Baltics are perfect by any means, and also too the fact that the Baltics are members of NATO probably makes a huge difference in Russia thinking about going over there. But whereas with Ukraine and Crimea wasn't a member of NATO, they had some ties through the European Union, but they didn't have that NATO alliance to back them up, whereas the Baltics are members of NATO and the European Union. So it'd be a pretty bold move to move in there, And so, and then I think the U.S. would have to, and actually when Ukraine was invaded, Crimea was invaded, I don't know if you saw this, but on the news, oh man, this is sad that Joe Biden, sorry, Vice President, went to the Baltics and spoke and said, and, declared the U.S.'s support of the Baltics as members of NATO, that they wouldn't let anything happen to them, and if Russia even came close to the Baltics, that they would take military action. So, thankfully, the Baltics are very well protected, it seems, from NATO and Europe and the U.S., so...